and trending topics. This is
Breaking Ground! Breaking Ground! Breaking Ground!
one of the hottest up-and-coming DJs in the city.
Swamp Thing
DJ Swamp Thing.
Breaking Ground!
And of course, keeping you in touch with the city. The always class. Tiffany. Yeah.
Breaking Ground! Breaking Ground!
Breaking Ground Radio with your man DJ Swamp Thing, where mainstream and local collab. Happy Thursday, 12/21. Let me get this intro off because 4 days till Christmas, man.
What's your kids looking like at home?
Happy Christmas Eve. How many Eves is there? About 3? All right, 3 or 4. Yes, so happy Thursday to everybody. It's me, DJ Swamp Thing. Of course, my sister in radio, Tiffany L, is in the building.
What's up?
What's good, Mom? You good?
Just racing around like always, 4 days till Christmas, trying to solidify which kids is getting some gifts and which kids are not.
Oh, yeah. You got to make that decision.
Trying to do chores, trying to get stuff together, make sure Santa don't skip them.
Now that last minute stuff. But it's a little late now, so if it ain't happened already, there's nothing you can do at this point.
I got a little preteen at home. She about to be sad on Monday morning when her sister opening them gifts and she just watching. Oh,
See, that's so good. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm fighting the cold a little bit. I was on my ass Tuesday and Wednesday morning. I was bad. But I got some rest and just doubled up on the.
Talk to you, and normally.
Well, that's why.
And I was like,
that's why.
Maybe he's mad. I was like, maybe we're fighting, and I don't understand why we're fighting.
No, I just there was nothing I could do. I tried to do social media stuff. Everything hurt. Everything just hurt. I said, you know what? I'm just about to lay here and get ready to die. No, I don't. I just think maybe being outside, not putting on the proper clothing that could, trying to be out there, trying to be macho, and this is what happened.
Now you enjoyed that other day where it was like 50. You was outside having too much fun.
Yeah,
you lost your mind.
Yeah.
I see some fools with some shorts on.
Yeah.
And I was like, silly. It's gonna snow in 3 days. What are you thinking about?
Yeah, so it's pretty bad, but it's okay. We still got a lot in store for the show. We have 2 great guests today. Tiffany, who are they?
All right, today we have Mr. Donnell Hughes from Donnell Hughes Events and Entertainment, and we are so excited to have him because he does a ton of events all over the Midwest. If you haven't heard of him, you're crazy, but I know that you should have seen some of these ads on Facebook. He's got a big New Year's Eve event, and it is a whole weekend event. So there's like tons of different parties. There's an all-white steppers party. There's an African dance party. There's like some business classes you can sit in on, some fitness things, and then of course the big party, New Year's Eve. So I'm excited about that.
No doubt.
I already got my room. I'm ready to turn up.
Yes.
I mean, like we playing in bottles, and we never get to do this, so this is like a really big deal. We were supposed to get to go last year, but the kids and work and all that stuff got in the way. But this year, I'm not having it. I don't know where them kids gonna be, but they're not
they ain't gonna be with y'all. That's cool.
But
y'all
our other guest is London Elixir, who is a Breaking Ground Radio favorite. She made the big move to ATL, so we're excited to have her back for the holidays. So she's gonna pop in and tell us what she's been up to in ATL.
No doubt, for sure. Well, let's do it, man. We'll do a little quick music break, and when we come back, we'll get right into Mr. Hughes. And I'm interested to hear about all the events. I'm interested to hear. I know you said you were going to try to pick his brain about our subjects we had last week, so definitely interested to hear about that too. Here is a homie from Detroit. Actually, met this guy on social media, man. And we had a lot of conversations about how artists in the same areas, how hard it is to find artist support for other artists. Mm-hmm. And I know we were saying how that's an issue here in Columbus and everything. So he sent me a couple of songs and everything, and I liked all of them for the most part. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna throw your jam on the playlist, man. Yeah, so the homie, Two Flash Lou. Actually, Two Flash Lou is from New Orleans, and the homie Cuts, who I was talking to, is from Detroit. So the song's called Rules of the Game. When we come back, we got Mr. Hughes, Breaking Ground Radio. Y'all don't go nowhere.
Too Flashy Lou. Freshest on the scene, y'all. It's the fashion killer. Jack and Thriller. Shoes, Mason and Margilla. Run off with your shit, no bump game, bitch. I'm a hitter. Stepping like Godzilla. Touche game, bitch. We them niggas really, nigga on the rilla. Why you napping? Take a pill, nap a nigga. Take a picture, drag his ass up on the river. Heard they want it, I deliver. You think they sick while I'm sick? I put this up like it's a sticker. Give it up, yeah, it's a sticker. Bad bitch, she eat that dick up. I just bring her to the crib, bring that bitch all in the liver. Close her out, yeah, I conceal her. Nina Tuck, yeah, I conceal her off. I got to hold my shit up, money talk, I'm Uncle Philip. You ain't starting, need a filler. Push the start, yeah, I call it for with no heavy bitches. Sellers, you was with us, now again, just cut you off like Edward Scissors. Bitch, I'm hot, now start this bitch. I spit it fast and come a twister, spit it fast and I'm a twister. No referee, I'm official. Young nigga from the hood, I done walk through the rain, on the road every day, state to state in the lane. Lost friends, some folk, I don't know when they came. If it all falls through, it's the rules of the game. Young nigga from the hood, I done walk through the rain, on the road every day, state to state in the lane. Lost friends, some folk, I don't know when they came. If it all falls through, it's the rules of the game. Petit Philippe on my wrist, 30K worth of jewels. Niggas hating on the name, feel the shape, but I'm cool. Got my shades on, I'm cool. Got the wave on, I'm who? Lou Ray Flashy Lou. Yeah, I'm straight off the stoop. Everything Jimmy Choo. Blowing heads out the roof. Bruce Wayne in the coupe. I send my feelings at you. Bloody streets in New Orleans, a double murder +2. You get blessed like I chew. You get stuck who got glue. Where the police and shoot. And all the bad bitches boost. Now where they at like it's boost. Ball man, easy boost. Flying out of the boot. I run it back like it's loop. Cut your head like a moose. Boy, you better not be stupid. Sipping off of that goose. My money up, but it's mute. I'm too pop up in juice. Yo, I'm loving the crew. And now she fucking the group. But she ain't nothing to two. I fuck one ass mute. I just gave you the truth. Young nigga from the hood. I done walk through the rain. On the road every day. Stay in the lane. Lost friends, some folk. I don't know when they came. If it all falls through, it's the rules of the game. Young nigga from the hood. I done walk through the rain. On the road every day. Stay in the lane. Lost friends, some folk. I don't know when they came. If it all falls through, it's the rules of the game.
These niggas are soft, scared to put their paws on me. They know I'm a boss, so they put the laws on me. Never fall off. You don't see no flaws on me. Get balls off and touchdown without a ball on me. Just cash when I'm writing. You ass or you biting. We gon' clash like the Titans. Have my cash or we fighting. I'm flash when I'm lighting. I stash when I'm wifing. Disrespect, break a neck, I'm dash like a hyphen. The game is fundamental, not the rules of the game. Reflect on what I've been through, see it's true to the game. It's nothing to get a rental and put two in your brain, but it's riches on the menu, should I continue my aim? I got a bag, motherfucker, and a mag, motherfucker. Don't ask, or I'm a blast, motherfucker. Fuck a free pass. Get off your ass, motherfucker, when they ask. How you tell them I'm a bad motherfucker?
Young nigga from the hood, I done walk through the rain. On the road every day, stay in the lane. Lost friends, some folk, I don't know when they came. If it all falls through, it's the rules of the game. Young nigga from the hood, I done walk through the rain. On the road every day, stay in the lane. Lost friends, some folk, I don't know when they came. If it all falls through, it's the rules of the game.
Breaking Ground Radio, it's your man DJ Swamp Thing, my mainstream and local collab. We are back. So yeah, Tiffany. So go ahead. Let's not further delay. Go ahead and introduce our first guest.
Absolutely, I'm very excited to introduce our first guest, Mr. Donnell Hughes, to the show. He and I have the pleasure. I don't know how long have we known each other.
It's been a few years now. We got some years in now.
How did I meet you? I'm trying to remember. Did you just pop up at the Chill, or how did this happen?
No, was it the Chill? What did you do before that? Didn't you have something before that?
No.
Okay, so
no, I think over at SC, was that the first time we hung out?
Yeah.
Yep, and I convinced you to try the the mac and cheese. Even though I think you were on some sort of weight loss.
I was. Not that night.
Some weight loss challenge. And I was like, nah, bro, you cannot leave SC Bar and Kitchen on the east side without getting some of this.
Right.
get some of that mac and cheese. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. This is Mr. Donnell Hughes from Donnell Hughes Events and Entertainment. He does all kinds of amazing events all over the Midwest. Like we've done some classy boat rides, which I myself had the pleasure of going to in Louisville last year. Also, we've got the big New Year's Eve event celebration because it's like a whole weekend.
Right.
Different things going on. What else? How did we get to this point of all this fabulous stuff? What I love, or what I want to make sure we pay attention to, is that he does not throw events for everybody. He throws events for the grown and sexy, and that is so necessary. It's so necessary when you have so many shoot 'em up little baby clubs going on that are open for a month or two, then close down and reopen with a new name, strippers on the floor, and all that kind of jazz. I have reached that grown and sexy stage where I no longer want to participate in. And what am I going to wear at the club? How late we going to be there? Waiting 42 hours for a drink, all that kind of stuff. So grown and sexy. How do we get here?
Well, it's kind of what you said. Eventually, my 30 and up group got tired. The club scene was nice when your senses can handle all the stimuli of being paranoid. So as you get older, that stuff gets kind of old, and you want to be in an environment where, you don't have to look over your shoulder. You can just have a good time. So I think about 15 years ago, before I moved back here, I started my trek to create events that's for folks that really want to just relax and have a good time.
Okay. So how did you decide which events you wanted to target? Like, obviously we can see the black tie events, but how did you think of like the classy boat ride or the African dance party?
Well, I mean, being honest, Columbus helped me leave to do events out of town because I've tried a few events here and just didn't get a lot of support. So I said, you know what, let me step out and go somewhere else where someone doesn't know me. And see how that helps. And believe it or not, my first event 2 years ago in Louisville, man, we sold that boat out, and that it was the Belle of Louisville. And they said that unless it's a large event, no one has ever, as an individual, come in and sold that ride out.
Wow. So,
but the marketing is the key, as you guys know.
Right.
So I don't target people that I know. I target people that I don't know. Because typically what happens is if you target people that you don't know, then they can't make a judgment.
Okay.
Only thing they see is the information that you're sending them. And if they're interested in what I'm doing, because I'm targeting that 30 to 45, 50-year-old crowd, then they're going to come because they want to have a good time versus who's doing the event and who we running with and all, the stuff that we do here.
Wow.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is a Columbus?
Oh, look at you now. You're trying to get me in trouble.
No, I want to know because
Inquiry minds want to know.
We talk about this frequently on the radio about like even with the younger crowd, I wonder, is it because there's so many different events?
What did you come up with? Was there consensus?
I don't know that we've come up with one, Swamp. Like as to what the issue is.
It's been an ongoing debate.
People, we definitely have heard a lot of the whole, well, there's a clique. And if you're not a part of said clique, you're not friends with so-and-so, then no one will come to your event, or they'll tell people, whatever. But other than that, like, I just feel like the majority of the time I've been here, wow, too long, 17 years, but probably hanging out, probably only like 10, 12. Like, I feel like the majority of my issue has been that there's so much going on. I'm like, ooh, I could go to the salsa club. I could go here. I could go to a poetry spot. And I have to make a decision because obviously I'm not going to run around to so many spots. So because there's so much going on and it's spread thin, then there's like 5 people here. There's 5 people here.
So in my humbled opinion about why Columbus doesn't support the way it does, is because they get comfortable where they are. And that's okay. I mean, when you go out to a spot or you frequent a promoter or a club, you get comfortable there and you don't want to move outside your comfort zone.
I agree. I agree.
I contribute that to Columbus being a conservative city. So, and this is my opinion. I mean, you know how that goes. But with that being said, it's the same with me. If people frequent my event, then more times than not, if someone else comes with something similar, they won't go. They'll just stick with me versus if you're in a more progressive town, folks move around.
Okay.
But Columbus, once they get there, if you get them, as I'll say as a promoter, if you can get those groups to be with you, then they'll stay with you pretty much.
Now, I heard you say the word promoter. Now, how do you feel like, what is your differentiation between the word promoter and event planner? How do you distinguish yourself? Or do you feel like it's all encompassing? Or, because I've had that debate with other people before.
Oh, I didn't know it was a debate. I thought they were one and the same.
Well, I guess the way that Corbett and I talked about it, was that promoter, I have to do basically all of the work. Like I have to not only put on the event, the money is up on me, and I have to do the majority of the advertising, the marketing, and reaching the people. Whereas if you're the event planner, then I just get out to you, hey, you know, I'm an event planner. You call me, book me. I set up and do all my things.
Got you.
And then walk away. And however much money you make is on you and how much you promoted it.
Okay. So if you set those parameters as what those two words mean, then of course they're distinctly different. But in my opinion, as an event planner, because in some cities, promoters call themselves event planners. Because we have to book the venue, we have to do everything as far as food, we have to do everything that encompasses that being successful. So yes, we are event planners, but the promoter is the hype piece.
Right.
So that is the old word. And people are moving more towards planners. And obviously, promoters spook people. If you come in saying you're a promoter. So a lot of folks are changing the language up here in the last few years just so they can get indoors.
Do you feel like that's because like people think when they hear a promoter like, oh, baby, he's
trying to sell something. He's a salesman.
Like that's all it's about.
It's like saying urban.
I saw that on my timeline earlier. Someone was asking about why people not of color have trouble trying to fit in urban crowds and that type of thing. And I found it interesting because, like, A, I don't care. B, like how you feel, because that's my life every day is trying to fit in with not people of color. And how do I have to adjust myself daily about that? So interesting.
So do you in doing the events, how often do you find yourself having to change or tweaking something? If you do let's say you do an event, the same event every year, do you ever get the feeling that people stop coming because they know what's going to happen? Do you find yourself having to tweak the show or the event here and there based off people saying, I've done it before? Because I know here, maybe not on a 30 and up scale, but I know I'm around a lot of the 20s crowds, you know, as a DJ and stuff. And I know if you do a show once a week or once a month, eventually the crowd starts to decrease because they know it's already going to happen. So it's not like they don't want to support it. They just know they're not going to miss anything. Do you run into that as well?
Well, not really with my group. When you speaking to the 30 and up crowd, or, you know, and it's interesting because my group is getting a little younger on the 28 and up side because they're tired of what you just explained. So with that being said, we want consistency. As you get older, you don't want to jump around and want something new every time you go out. The responsibility stuff kick in, you get a little bit more mature in your thinking, and then consistency is what you want. You want a nice band, you want a nice DJ, you want nice drinks, and you want food, all that to be consistent. And because you don't go out like we did, like I did when I was younger, 3 or 4 times a week, I see most of my folks maybe once or twice a month. So, but I got the entire demographic. So I get a lot of changeover, but you know, Columbus is sitting around here with about 25,000 people that are Black. And at that 2.25, I probably will want to deal with the professional end, obviously. And that takes that 225 all the way down to right around 50,000 people. And of that 50,000 people, there's another slice of the pie of 40% of that number wants to be social. So with that being said, I'm dealing with on a regular throughout the year, right around 15 to 20,000 people. And that's a nice number.
That's a nice number. That's definitely a nice number.
So analytically, if you look at it like that, most people that's in that demographic, when they reach it, get into it, because you have to graduate into it. It's kind of like leaving middle school to high school to college, college to grad school. Each succession into that next higher level, you don't need as many bells and whistles.
Right.
You just want consistency.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I would imagine that working with certain vendors, they become your favorites and you kind of add it to a favorite list. Like, you know, consistently that if I hire this band, they show up on time, ready to go, got some extra stuff for me. And versus, oh, I'm going to try this newer, cheaper band, you know, see if that shakes things up. And then you're like, oh, they take 15 smoke breaks. Oh, so-and-so of the 5-piece band didn't even show up. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I have seen a lot of that. Just dealing with my friends who are working in this industry. And it is a headache. Even running the Chill, as fun as it was, the easiest part was even though it was a short amount of time, I built a really good team, you know, with Swamp. Like, I always consistently knew who my DJ was. I didn't have to stress about it once I had that figured out. But before that, I had tried, I don't know, probably 8-10 DJs in the city.
Really?
And oh my God, yes. It was such a headache to get somebody who made a priority out of, you know, my priority. Right. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the way that they think about it is, that's her event, I'll do what I can, but exactly, you know what I'm saying? Sure. She ain't really got that much dough anyway, so therefore I'll get there when I get there kind of mentality. And it wasn't like, you know, whereas I feel like the team that I created took promotions on themselves. Like, we all want to do well. We want the show to do well. You know, when I was getting different DJs who weren't necessarily invested in the show, then they weren't stressed about promoting, you know what I mean? Because they knew that their money was already going to get paid, whether there was one person in the door or 100 people in the door. And it was my stress how I was going to pay the rest of my team. So I definitely can see that. I don't know. Would you equate it to less stress for having bigger events that you don't have to, you know, necessarily worry about details of every week? Or do you feel like it's the same amount of stuff just spread out? Like the same amount of planning, the same more?
It's the latter, because I started promoting in June. I built my host committee team for New Year's prior to that. So when you're looking at that long process of building your team, as you mentioned, and the amount of time that you have to give a conservative area to log in to what you're doing, it takes them a couple months. Yeah. And then once that September, October hit, then the marketing changes. And then you have to do a lot of call to actions. Yeah. So once you create the call to actions, then that's when the ticket sales start. And with me doing tickets in hand, tickets in some of our nice business venues that we got lined up, and all the stuff that I do online, there's no avenue you can escape to say, oh, I'm not going. If you're coming, I got everything covered. Right. If you're not coming, it's because you don't want to come. Right. And that's fine. Right. But I'll make sure I don't miss any of those avenues. And the younger promoters don't understand that. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think not only that they don't understand, this might be across the board for younger promoters, DJs, like Tiffany was saying, or hosts or event players, is in talking to a lot of the younger guys, it's hard for them to wrap their minds around learning something new. It's almost like they don't want to learn, or they don't want, like, they figure what they're doing is fine. It gets them by. Right. So that's okay. And my thought is always, and I had a meeting yesterday, me and two friends of mine, and we were kind of talking about that. It's like, why would you not want to elevate what you're doing? Why do you not want to go to that next level, you know, and make more money and be and meet more people, shake more hands,
Mhm.
go to more events, go to events that are another notch or two from what you're doing, so you can see what they're doing.
Is that called diversifying your portfolio?
Yes,
Okay,
or something
all right.
like that.
There
Yeah,
you go.
yeah.
That's what it is. There it is.
There it is. So it's yeah, that kind of boggles my mind, because even as a DJ, I mean, I would always, and I'm not saying it just because you're sitting here, but I would always do the chill if it was still up. But if there are other opportunities for me to grow and stand and play in front of different people
Right.
on a higher level, maybe with some suits on, or own a couple of, I'm going to do that too, because now I diversified my portfolio by
That's right.
doing that.
There you go.
But a lot don't get that. They think that they're not being loyal to the other group if they do that.
The other
Yeah.
group
That's
meaning
the
the
other, like if I did that and still did the chill, Tiffany would get mad about that.
Oh,
No, she wouldn't, but just for
Yeah,
the sake
I
of
get what you're
argument,
saying. I got
right.
wow.
And it's like, no, I should be able to do more than one thing.
It's the whole crab in the barrel thing. Like,
That's
I don't
what
want
it
you to
is.
get more successful than I am. The other thing that I thought about when you said that was, maybe it's also based on a fear of like, when you get into that higher circle, like, can you maintain it?
Mhm.
Because that fall from grace is tough. Like, to make it all the way up high, and people are like, oh, Donnell Hughes looking good. I see him all on NBC talking about his little, NYE event. And then next year, like, nobody's coming to this, that, and the third. And, no one's checking for him because of whatever reason.
Mhm.
But I think that's a fear of everybody's too, because it's not that big of a deal to fall when you're already down at the bottom,
Mhm.
but to fall when you're trying to climb so high. I mean, it's a fear that's natural, but it's something definitely, if you're trying to like get this money and, be successful and grow.
Yeah.
I can speak to that, and then will help many folk that's in this business. Is you're gonna fail.
God bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
You're gonna fail. It's just, I mean, there's no getting around it. So the folks that don't prepare for that when it happens are the folks that fall the hardest.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I've been doing this a very long time, and I still have bad events. It's just the nature of the game. I mean, not because people didn't show up or the energy wasn't right. There's a lot of factors on why something fails for people that take their craft to higher levels within themselves.
Mhm.
So it's not just wasn't nobody there. It just wasn't like I didn't sell enough tickets. It could be a multitude of things outside of the obvious, which people look at like, that's packed. That shit is off the chain.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in the back sick, but it's not because of that piece. There's another piece.
Right.
There's nothing like having a building full of people and not make no money.
Mhm.
Right.
And that
Right.
happens more times than not
Yeah.
in my approach of dealing with making sure everybody get access to what I'm doing.
Mhm.
Because people don't know how the craft that you have to fill up buildings when you're talking about 1,000+ people.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of things that's going on to make that happen. And it's not all with ticket sales.
Mhm. That's true. That is
What
true.
kind of assurances do you have to give a venue as far as like
A lot of money, but go ahead.
right. Is that it? Is that like the bottom line of like, but I mean, to
That's
get
what it's
them
all
to
for.
want
Dollar.
to get them to be like, oh yeah, we rock with Donnell Hughes. Like, you know what I'm saying? We want this to be an annual event. We trust him. We know
Yes.
that he brings, quality events,
So-
people are safe, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. So to speak to that specifically, I do hotels primarily. So what they want, number one thing is heads and beds.
Mhm.
That's why I do the whole hotel piece,
Mhm.
because I can put a lot of folks in some rooms. And once you do that, that's their primary objective throughout the whole year is to sell out
It's a
their
room. Yeah.
Right.
What's your occupancy rate for the year?
Right.
And I help folks with that at the end of the year when I come through with my event. So if I ever leave a hotel at the end of the year and go to another hotel, they're going to be asking questions at the other hotel.
Like,
Why'd he go?
yeah.
Because that's a big number to take off the sheet.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, yeah, but it's heads and beds. And then why you see so many upcharges in hotels, because the rest of that is cushion for them, as you say, that kitty, the bar, the food, the room service. So once you kicking all of those in, because my people, you know, most of them, 40% or so, turn it in early, but they go back to the room, pick up the phone,
right,
and order,
right.
And folks is running. You know, the kitchen is, if you turn the music off, you'll hear them ovens rattling because folks are picking up that. So, but more importantly, the super cush for hotel events where they really want you to come back is not only do you put those heads in beds and you eating that food, it's that liquor.
Yeah.
And that's with anybody.
Yeah.
Why you think clubs can do those type of special drinks?
Right.
Trust me. When you look at how much money one bottle of liquor can produce, you can give away 5 bottles because you know you about to get paid in full for 50 of them.
Right. Right. Wow.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. That's that's a great point. That's interesting. So on that note, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna get into my homie Deuce, man, right here in Columbus, with Kids from My Side, and then we'll be back with Mr. Hughes. Don't go nowhere.
Progress is a process. I've been known to work on projects. I get caught up in my concepts, still pulling at my conscience. Still wonder if they stealing flows, snatching niggas' content. And if it's for $1, nigga known to do some nonsense. Nigga rob that nigga sell. There's nothing they could tell us. Pass us through them schools. Real world, nigga, they gon' fell us shit. Music make us slaves. $10, they gon' sell us. We made it in the house and yet they locked us in the cellar. It's cool, I got a hole in my ceiling. Don't know how I'm feeling. Try to take what's mine and I'm killing. Label the villain, but my mom, she got like 9 other children. So we allegiant to the dream, bitch. I pledge my allegiance. Yeah, this my season. We was rolling, we was vibing, we was kids, Southside. We was rolling, we was vibing, we was kids, Southside. We was rolling, we was vibing, we was kids, Southside. We was rolling, we was vibing, we was kids, Southside. In the house, no smoking endo. Sister crack a bedroom window. This is more than simple highs. Blood to hit a new crescendo. We was kids stuck in limbo. Pick a locker, pick a pencil. My brother loved his art. Couple times he drew his pistol in the pocket. Them white crystals, man, them jewels with simple tools. We ain't need no Jamie Foxx to start breaking all the rules. Give me 12 months of April just to keep these niggas full. Tryna pay my daddy back for all them extra shifts he pulled, but we was rolling, we was vibing, we was kids, Southside. We was rolling, we was vibing, we was kids, Southside. We was rolling, we was vibing, we was kids, Southside. We was rolling, we was vibing, we was kids, Southside. This division, though, straight like figure 4 to the liquor store. Kick back where that shit get pulled. I don't want no more. Devil want my soul. He won't get it though. Nights of sleeping on the floor. Days of waking up his pole. That was just a phase. Cut it out like fades. Head and turn to gray, cause where we stay, that's just how we play. Cause of how we live, doing what we did. We was kids, man, they thinking that they know us. Bitch, there ain't no script. We was acting like the grown-ups. We was rolling, we was vibing, we was kids, Southside. We was rolling, we was vibing, we was kids, Southside. We was rolling, we was vibing, we was kids, Southside. We was rolling, we was vibing, we was kids, Southside.
Just in it out.
F-A-T-E. Lace the fuck up.
Biz. Yeah. Allow me to clown on this one. Welcome to Mount Olympus. Young, busy like Dionysus. Get a drink, we can drown and kick it. Come alive and my sound is different. I'm Poseidon beside you fishes. Sharp flow, let the trident hit you. Best ever is my description. Okay, I'm clearly the GOAT. Rapping since 13 years old. Spit something as pure as the Pope. I hope your ears is awoke. I'm way too clear on these vocals. I just appear after smoke. I'm not a joke. All of that laugh to get old. I'm from the capital O. I swing the bat like I'm Sosa. I swing the axe and make cold cuts. Got so many tracks, I just sit on them. Like a bully on beats, I just pick on them. Ain't no question, I'm legit on it. I'ma just hit the quad till I'm rich on me. The rest of these tracks, I make history. At the end of this lap is my victory. Animal tactics, been a beast. Put the pen in pieces, I'm an inner genius. A tyrant, college grad with an iron fist. I ain't slacking, I'm triumphant. I adapt to environments. I am past you entirely. We should have an inquiry. It ain't happening quietly. I'm a rapper, the irony. I'm an artist and thinker. I put bars in a sleeper. Too much art in my reach. I'm like Artemis in the trees. I'm like Hermes, wings on my feet. If I fall off, the sky's beneath me. Part of the time I'm thinking, the hardest of lines get inked. Making moves, making music, so I stay in tune. Never take a break. The day I do, it will make breaking news. Super sick of these rappers, I'm losing patience too. All this madness make me march on you April Fools. My time's here, can't see with your blind stare. It's like you boxed in all the time and mistake it for Times Square. I told you my mind is clear, I'm a giant, titan in spirit. Lyrically flows a spear, I'm the sharpest globally here. I still got songs in the vault, I ain't dropped for over some years. I thought mama taught you not to put fire close to your ears. I just put a new flow in, then go in. We got another show inside the city, finna show out till the show ends. I got brothers, I don't think I really know friends. It's like a fusion, how the trunks go and go 10. Don't be confused, I'm trying to dunk, they trying to go 10. I'm about to ball, hold it firmly with both hands. On Mount Olympus, looking down on myself, because no one else is a challenge, so I challenge myself. Inspiration, bring it out of myself. So if no one else is proud, at least I'm proud of myself. Busy.
F-A-T-E. Hey, yeah, boy.
F-A-T-E. Yeah.
I made this track to on purpose. It's time to really put that work in. I'm trying to send my message urgent. Catch the wave or let the surf hit you. Trying to buy my mind that bourbon. Color caddy with the earth in it. Wood grain in the surface. Riding cleaner than detergent. I wanna buy my homies everything. I need to take another step again. I think I got another step to gain. I'm already on another level, lane. I left my college, ain't stopped reading yet. To be the best, you gotta beat the best. Or be the best, take the heat, no sweat. On a beat, go Debo, yes, I don't need both flex. Spending my time at my home, my mind in the zone. I write while I'm right by my son. Thinking I'm right and you're wrong, writing I'm wrong. Can't believe I'm writing this, son. Put this one right on your phone, play it his own. Man, my streak is like a long one. Messing with me, I'm the wrong one. Screws loose like I'm on something. You don't really want nothing. Right, chop it, but the wrong subject. I ain't stopping till we throwing money. I ain't stopping when we throwing money. Top spot, I'm really going for it. Came from nothing, now we know the glory. Think you know me, you don't know the story. Don't listen to them if they told it for me. Blowing them out like new speakers. Chugging my drink like a 2-liter. Nice to meet you, need a new greeting. Got more bars than the zookeepers. Ain't doing squash like a zucchini. New watch look like a new genie. Rub it twice to get too gleamy. In the sign of rap's too steamy. As far as rap, I have a true meaning. Feed the fam, don't be too greedy. Been the plan, the crew too beastie. To bring the plant, you throw 2 seeds in. I've been a man of the house since I was like 7 years old. Not a question if credit is due when you know that the credit is owed. I just have way too much drive, I don't think I could ever get told. My story gonna go down in history as one of the greatest get told. My family just need all the capital, like you just read this in bold. My pad look like it came from Babylon. Raps are embedded in gold. I made this track to on purpose. It's time to really put that work in. I'm trying to send my message urgent. Catch the wave or let the surf hit you. Trying to buy my mind that bourbon. Color caddy with the earth in it. Wood grain in the surface. Riding cleaner than detergent. I want to buy my homies everything.
Sharp focus with a steady aim. Staying focused through the petty things. Since the 26th of January, since 91, I've been ready, man. I ain't never looking left again. We ain't never getting left again. More bars and some reps to gain. Okay, here go another set of game. Raise the bar and a level ain't screaming family over everything. Other rappers in the safety tank. Hug the money till I suffocated. Man, Columbus really underrated. I dropped this one, got a summer tape. Part 2, here comes Sun and Shade. Bizzo rap like he the son of Shady. And after the map, I make hundreds daily. But don't mistake me, put my gun away unless you gon' betray me. Got my owner papers, now I'm owning paper. Put up a front for you perpetrators. I'm working now and they working later. I'm working later and I'm working now. Stretch the bars like I'm working out. Super fly off the surface now. Type of flow you should purchase now. But this one free like the service down. I throw the ball off the curb and clown. I stole the show, put the curtains down. Yes, Bizzo working, that's for certain now. Suit and tie, yes, some words of power. I ain't even have to curse on now.
F-A-C-E.
Breaking Ground Radio with your man DJ Swamp Thing, where local and mainstream collab.
Get there. I'm
Not going there. You good.
I'm no longer any fun. I'm old.
Yeah. So we were in here having a nice discussion going on over here, man, with myself, Tiffany L, and Mr. Hughes.
I think we showing too much age up here.
Yeah, no, it's all right though. It's okay. It's all right. It's okay because I mean we usually have the majority of our guests are more on the younger side, so I mean it's okay to branch out on to branch out on.
And I'm more like thank God.
Yeah. So
like,
this not
we can have a conversation that extends.
But that's what this is about though. That's what this show is all about. So I'm not mad at all. But so yeah, still Mr. Hughes in the building was giving us a lot of shining light on events and the statistics that go with it. I did have a question though. So what as a not necessarily me, because I don't think I'd have the patience to do it, but for those who want to do what you're doing that are 10 maybe even 15 years, under you trying to figure out if that's what they want to do. What advice would you give them as they're just starting out?
Start small. I mean, really small.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, if there's a club or something in the city, wherever they go frequent at, have a party, just something, theme it out, make it something, and see if you have a following. Don't go out there and spend all your money and then find out you don't have a following. Typically, most event planners / promoters have a good relationship with the people that they're inviting.
Right.
Once you have that and you want to flip that out, as you say, to say, hey, I want to do events, then it's beyond your control other than to massage those relationships so they can get 1 and 2 removed from them, because it's not your word anymore. It's their word, what you do.
Right.
That's why you treat your circle nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's why every opportunity you get, and good or bad, is you make sure that your people's taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
You make sure to say, hey, I apologize if something goes wrong. If something goes right, you be like, hey, how can I make it better?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not doing that, massaging your core, because it's the core. You can't get beyond your core, because that's their job, the people that you have around you, because those are your faithfuls, as you call them. And as long as you're taking care of your faithfuls, they're going to make sure that the message get to those folks in the outer bands. That makes sense?
Perfect sense.
Yes.
And let me just throw something in there real quick. And this isn't a shot at anybody or anything, but I've seen this, and I've only been in Columbus about 6 years.
Okay.
And really got into the scene maybe half that, so 3 years maybe. If you're running an event, and I don't run events, I did the Crossfade with Kid Cash for a little bit, but that wasn't anything huge. But if you're running an event, if you're a host or you call yourself the event planner, or you making all the plans to create this wonderful event, and people are coming out and they're having a good time, watch your consumption as the host.
I know that's right.
I'm not saying that you can't enjoy your event, because I know I would. But in my mind, I'm always thinking more on the business side. On my mind, the event to everybody is a party, but for you, it's a business. You know what I mean? You're actually running a shop right now.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So you need to be in 100%. I'm losing my words because again I'm kind of flooded with this medicine I'm on, but you understand. I'm sure you understand what I'm saying, right?
It's
right.
like you
go out, talk to people. Hey man,
yeah.
Thank you for coming. I don't care if you see them come every time.
And
right.
and not necessarily. Now you about to be with me, mac and cheese,
right?
No, listen. I think I love the fact that you said don't put all your money into it, but how much? Not how much money do you put into it, but like how much do you invest in your event safely to make sure that you can, of course, sustain yourself, but still you want it to be successful and you want to show out, especially if it being your first or second event, you really want to go all like, and they had tablecloths, what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you really trying to impress people.
Well, let me close his part out first. Right? Let me close this part out because it's very important, because the young folks that do promotions, for some reason they think it's about them. And it's not.
Yes. Perfect.
And that's where you were going. Yep. So I wanted to make sure you heard that.
Yeah.
And that's an easy conversation with somebody that's doing events. When you tap them on their shoulder, like, bruh, it's not about
it's not about you.
It really isn't. So if they're true to what they're doing, which is creating something for others, because that's what they're doing, then they'll modify that behavior very quickly. Very quickly.
That's awesome.
So I'll slide back to your thing about money. You want to know how much to invest in initially.
Yeah, how much do you invest in yourself where you're showing how much you care about your event, but not trying to bankrupt yourself in case it doesn't go well.
Okay, so the science behind that, and it's real simple. Don't have an event if you don't have the money.
Rewind. Rewind.
Okay. Right, but what does that mean to
what that means for folks like you and I is I got all year to prepare for New Year's Eve. And that's on purpose. Once you start dealing with weekly stuff, the capital and cash flow is higher, and it just comes really quickly. But that's after establishing yourself. But in the beginning, you have to see what everyone else is doing. Then you say, okay, obviously you want yours to be different. That's the whole point of all of us coming out here doing something. I can do a little bit better. And that's the motivation. But the point is, don't step out until you have a kitty. Don't step out and that check is coming and half of it got to go to rent, car payment. Then you got to try to have an event.
Okay.
Build it up. Bring in a small investor. And they're out there. And we're not talking about $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. You can bring an investor for a couple $100. And the only thing you giving them is perks to the event. And also, you'd be surprised how many people want to see you be successful. But you won't know if you don't ask.
True.
So a lot of us stay stuck on stupid, thinking we got to do all this ourselves. But you got people out there that will want you to do it.
Did you see him look at me like he was hinting about himself, like he was thinking, "Tip, I got you if you just ask."
I don't know. I'm staying out of that. I'm staying out of that one. I'm staying out of that one.
Let me tell you about my next project.
I'll just be there to DJ, but other than that, I'm gonna stay out of that.
Absolutely. Okay, so when you're also, this is the last question about this, but like research, like how much time do you feel like you need to research each type of event that you do, as far as the demographics, as far as like how to market it, how to all of that stuff, or what is that piece? How do you learn that piece?
By the people that come to your event.
Okay.
So typically, if you do an event, the folks that are going to attend your event are folks that are going to be in your demographic.
Okay.
Typically, unless you just out the box with something, but that's not the case. And 99.9% of the time. So once you create your demographic, then you use the analytics on Facebook, because you can use their paid platforms to go get exactly what you want.
Okay.
Whether it's education, whether it's what they like, whether it's how much they make, whether it's what part of town that they live, you can pull these demographics out of Facebook and send those right down people's timelines for a fraction
exactly correct
of the cost
Yep.
that you would use the platform for. Example, radio or TV. My demographic, 7.5 of them is on this thing every day. 7.5. Do I try to go after the 2.5? No, because the 7.5 gonna tell the 2.5. So I got 100%.
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent. Great
So,
point. Great point.
With that being said, and anybody, you can call me. I don't, I give this information up because I want people not to waste money. If you're out there trying to build one handshake at a time, promotions is not your game.
Okay.
You do that at the event, but you don't do that to build the event.
Okay.
To build the event, you got to get to the masses, and that's people that you don't know, but in your demographic.
Got you. So, because I don't want to miss this as we close it out. Just go, promote or tell about the New Year's event that is coming up.
Okay.
And if tickets are still available, the whole nine. The
Okay.
whole nine.
All right. So, starting next Saturday, which will be December 30th, begins my second black and white attire New Year's Eve celebration. And you hit on it earlier, Tiff, and I love you for it. It's not an event anymore. It's a celebration because it's so huge.
Yeah.
I have 4 events. So Saturday, I have a all-white party for line dancers, steppers, and ballroom dancers. That's going to be phenomenal because they're coming from all over to come to this.
And they love
Chi-Town.
it. Man,
I love to see the Chi-Town do their
If you know how to
thing,
do
man.
it, that you know how to do it. They
Right.
get in.
That's awesome to see.
And Columbus is a huge dancing community, believe it or not. But as folks get older, they don't find it till they get after 30.
Yeah.
But line dancing and stepping is what happens here. And there's some really nice groups out there. So that night, Saturday on the 30th, the second event is an African dance party. So that's in Kwanzaa, which starts on the 26th. I'm on that calendar for one of their events. So we spoke, and I'm all about community and culture.
Awesome.
So the African event was already on the schedule because I love African drums and dance. So they approached me, and I said, let's make it happen.
Yeah.
So
I just think it's so cool because it's so different.
Yes.
No one that I've ever heard of is offering anything like that, and especially on a specialty night where you want to do some fun and different things. Like everybody has been to a quote unquote party with champagne. Well, maybe you haven't, but you know what I'm saying. You get the gist of this. But this is like you can do that, and you can do this, and you can do this, and if you're a woman, you get to change your outfit.
That night, Saturday, after the African dance party, folks go to bed at the DoubleTree. Then they wake up, and I have a fitness class that morning leading into New Year's Eve. So a lot of folks in our age bracket, really 35 and up now, they're becoming really, really, really conscious about their health. So I've instituted fitness classes this year to my event. So anyway, on that day of New Year's Eve, which is really the big day, when the hotel is like completely sold out,
right?
We have a day party. Costs nothing. It's free. It's me giving back. So it's a free event. It's the party before the party.
No doubt.
And that's what I call it. And then after that is the black and white dress up affair. Starts at 8 o'clock. Dami Styles gonna be the headliner.
Dami Styles.
Right. Yeah. Terry Whitlow and the show gonna be doing her thing with the live music.
Nice.
And the only thing I'm gonna say is that dance floor is
gonna be
packed.
popping. So are tickets still available, and where can they find them at?
Yes, tickets are still available. VIP is going very fast. I don't look for VIP to be here very long because we only have 300 for that. I don't do more than 30% of my crowd of VIP. That's just an ugly event. So they can go get tickets and learn more about the event, all 4 of them, at www.donnellhughesevents.com. That's hotel and ticket information for this year's New Year's Eve event.
Man, we appreciate Mr. Donnell Hughes stopping by Breaking Ground Radio. Definitely appreciate that. And please go out. If you haven't got your tickets yet, I haven't been yet. I'm gonna try. It might be a little last minute. I'm gonna ask the lady, see if we can do that. If not, we're gonna put it on the calendar for next year.
Word.
So I'm gonna just put that out there.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me. This was nice.
Thank you.
Columbus needs to do this more often. Tiffany reached out.
Yep, I'm glad she did.
And we need to do more of that, and we'll be much better for it if we do.
No doubt, no doubt. So there you have it, man, Mr. Donnell Hughes. When we come back, we'll take a quick break, and we got Ohio Zone coming straight out the ATL. Miss London Elixir is in the building. We'll talk to her about all her projects that she's got going on, and we'll keep it rocking. And we'll still try to squeeze the break in there if we can. I haven't lost hope just yet. We'll still try to get B Square to rock out. I'm not gonna do it, but we'll let B Square rock out for at least a good 5-6 minutes. Huh, Tiff? What you think?
I think that's dope.
You think we can still squeeze that? So don't go nowhere. Well, we're gonna go ahead and throw a little weed and Patron in there. London Elixir, our own girl Essence in the building.
Hey.
Let's go.
She popped up.
I got this weed and Patron. Your bitch is all on my phone. Pass me that bottle right now. I got this weed and Patron. I got this weed and Patron. Yeah. Yo, bitch, she all on my phone. I told her like leave me alone. I got this weed and Patron. I got this weed and Patron. Yeah. Yo, she all on my phone. I told her like leave me alone. Okay. I ain't really high like a plane. So high, I don't feel the rain. If you see me buying weed, it's nothing less than an 8. Oh, you got a problem? Say it to my face. If you're ahead, then I come up for your place. So I'm kinda late, but the shoulders on the race. Yeah, I said I'm kinda late, but I got a steady face. I like it when they skirt off when my music play. And nothing why I play. Ain't gonna take a shirt off when my music play. Yeah, I'm trying to see her face, but it's all up in my way, so I had to take it off. Yeah, you know I'm going off. And it sound like a ball, yeah, you scrub me raw. Cause I ain't looking at the car. No, I ain't looking at the car. Yeah. Okay. Nothing in the car with the yay. Hey. I'm from Ohio, not the A. So I think you better watch what the fuck you gotta say. Cause you know we going off. Yeah, you know I'm going off. Yeah. I got this weed and Patron. I got this weed and Patron. Yeah. Yo, bitch, you all on my phone. I told her like leave me alone. I got this weed and Patron. I got this weed and Patron. Yeah. Yo, bitch, you all on my phone. I told her leave me alone. I got this weed and Patron. I got this weed and Patron. Yeah. Yo, bitch, you all on my phone. I told her like leave me alone. Leave me alone. I got this weed and Patron. I got this weed and Patron. Yeah. Yo, bitch, you all on my phone. I told her like leave me alone. I told her like leave me alone. Please, thank you. Like please, my girlfriend killed both of us.
But I believe in 6 love. But I believe in 6 love. But I believe.
Power 6 while I'm living lately. Felt like AI playing for the sixes. Off the line, I throw the whip on sixes. Think we losing, you all kinda tripping. These 6 zeros like my gamma scripting. Got your shorty staring, got the diamond dripping. Now she grabbing on me with some bad intentions. Got the pressure talking like a politician. See these haters cause I got a vision. Make the extras off of what I'm whipping. No, I has to never satisfied. I'm in Nemo when I'm doing fishing. Not too friendly, I'ma talk a bitchin'. Next summer tryna cover Billy. Yeah, I'm searching, got my partners with me. Cross the gang, yeah, your mama missing.
Shit, I did it cause I make more than her daddy. Smoke on my dick in the back of the caddy. Yeah, below to a grand pappy, call me Frank Vino with the cocaine. Triple beam in a field press. A beanie single with the automatic. Sex game with a real pass. The track will do on my paper. Put his brains on the pavement to see what he thinking and leave it. That's thinking, don't play with my paper, no ball. Chase, Michael J. Polo. What you saying that it blow it. Like the one, I get it blowing. Cut the corner like I see it. You ain't doing what you thinking. That's you trapping with a beat. On a goose, make you niggas pee. Bitch,
I come to party tonight. We bring the party to life. But let me get right. Hope I look good in the light. And you got your camera right. Put on the flash. Time to flash out the lab. Hop on the stage and we spaz. On Thursday we live. Pick up the site. The shucky that you trust me. This is the vibe. Bet. $1800 FYB session. We coming missing. Got them running. Dutch got a gun. And Bato got the hundreds. Chopper got you on me. Yeah. Normally we would tear the club up. Now we harness all this energy to set the fuck up. This is sex. Think we losing you all kind of tripping.
That track will do on my paper.
This is the sex. Cross the gang out your mama missing.
Sex game with a real.
This is the sex. Think we losing you all kind of tripping.
That track will do on my paper.
This is the sex. Cross the gang out your mama missing.
Sex game with a real.
This is the sex.
Talk about love anymore? I can be your girl if you want me to. Show you around the world if you let me do it. I can bring you love and all the above. Stay here by your side whenever you're down. I can cater to you cause you are my king. You can't get this from no other but me. When you think of love, do I cross your mind? Cause when I think of us, it's always lovely thoughts.
It's always lovely thoughts. Love you like a stanza, you're my art. Breath from my pencil, you are my poetry on the paper in the instrumental. Let me give you something real, that type of feel that old heads talk about. That type of love that the young kids dream about, but we aren't dreaming now. It's real life, I tell the world about us. Heart open for you, I got that Love Jones in my body. Digging that brown sugar, you got me feeding for your sweetness.
I can be your girl if you want me to. Show you around the world if you let me do it. I can bring you love and all the above. Stay here by your side whenever you're down. I can cater to you cause you are my king. You can't get this from no other but me. When you think of love, do I cross your mind? Cause when I think of us, it's always lovely thoughts.
It's always lovely thoughts. When I'm around you, I feel protected. I neglect the negative cause you're that positive image. Kodak smile and I love your style. Black and proud, even when others try to diss our strength. Our love always overcomes any battle. I fight for you, no cliche Bonnie and Clyde. But no matter what, I ride with you. I know love is tricky and a little scary. Plus my past relationships have made me picky. But when I see you, butterflies dance in my stomach to the beat of my heart. And if you're willing to take a chance, then we will forever have lovely thoughts, lovely times shared, vacations around the world with time shares. I keep you right here in my heart. It's true we will have bumps in the road, but if you're my right partner, every rough turn will be worth it. I'll bring you up and hold you down, be your queen. Securing your love is the only bag I need. Tell me you feel the same way about me.
I can be your girl if you want me to. Show you around the world if you let me do it. I can bring you love and all the above. Stay here by your side whenever you're down. I can cater to you cause you are my king. You can't get this from no other but me. When you think of love, do I cross your mind?
Breaking Ground Radio, it's your man DJ Swamp Thing with mainstream and local collab. We are back at it. Hopefully you guys are not too annoyed with my little sickly voice, but yeah, it's almost over. You ain't got to deal with it too much longer, but definitely wanted to introduce our next guest. Everybody should be familiar with this lady already. Ohio's own, straight OSU grad, just a phenomenal music producer out there in the ATL making major moves. We couldn't be more proud of her to call her a friend of the radio show. None of the Elixirs in the building. What's good? What's good? What's happening?
Good to be back. It's always good to come to your show.
Of course, well, we appreciate that. We appreciate that. So, what's the word?
Man, what isn't the word? There's so much going on.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it.
So it's always good to be back in the city, though. You know, I'm enjoying my time here. I had a couple friends graduate, one from OSU too, this last weekend.
Okay.
So that was nice. But you know, just a lot of things going on in ATL since I moved. Just music.
Yeah,
a
of
lot
course.
Of networking mainly. A lot of networking.
Good. I know we talked a little bit about off the air, and then you did have a chance to kind of see a lot of the people that you hung out with yesterday from the city. So that's good.
Yes,
that's great.
Columbus Music.
Yep. Shout out 9AB out there to win Nines Days. So that's what's up.
Oh, we just I went yesterday, so I got to see everybody.
I knew you were gonna go.
Yes,
Okay.
and I just found out like me and Nandi have the same birthday. She said something about it yesterday, and I was like, "Did you say January 8th?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's my birthday." I'm like, "That's my birthday."
Oh, nice! Look at that. That's what's up. So what has from the last time you were here? We know you were making major moves. I mean, what's new? What has happened from the last time now out there?
Yes, so like mainly I released my EP. So Project LX Volume 2, as y'all know, I did the first one when I was still living here back in February.
Mhm.
It featured a lot of artists from Columbus. And then this time when I moved, I still wanted to do my next project featuring all artists in the Columbus area. So this one has K Grows, Essence of Hip Hop, Rage, Sesh Gang, and Q Band. So it's 5 tracks, and that just came out last weekend. And we threw the release party 2 weeks ago in Atlanta, which was actually funny because it happened to snow that day, and that was like the only.
Was
day
that
it
the
snowed.
snow day?
That was the snow day. I was like, of course, like,
and it snowed heavy. It wasn't like
it
a,
wasn't. Yeah, I was thinking, you know, you hear about it from being up north, and we hear about all snow down south.
Right.
It'll be a drop of snow, and they act dramatic. Like it actually snowed, like flurry a little bit down there.
And wasn't the airport shut down?
Yeah, the airport, like it was a
Yeah,
lot.
they don't do that in the South.
Yeah, people
Yeah, they
were
don't do
hitting
that
me
in the
up left
South.
and right. Like, are you still having the release party? I'm like, yeah. I had to go on Instagram. Like, yo, I'm still.
We
having
still
a
going. We
release party.
still going
I'm
down.
from Ohio, y'all. Like.
This ain't stopping
you know what I'm saying?
nobody.
This ain't stopping us.
Right.
But like, yeah, it actually ended up like a whole bunch of stuff. Like, just you wouldn't even imagine like the people who like didn't come out like because of the snow, which I understand because they didn't have salt trucks out there.
Yeah.
So it actually was like pretty like slippery and pretty dangerous. Like if you're not used to that weather, I feel like the people there can't drive very well when it's not slippery. So I don't blame them.
And we can kind of say the same thing about Columbus too a little bit. So.
Okay, right.
So you know how that is.
It might be
Exactly.
people feel like, you know, Atlanta's full of people who aren't even from Atlanta.
Right.
So like it's just a mixture of people who drive different, you know.
Right.
So you can't. So yeah, the snow is just all bad. But like regardless of that, the EP release party still turned out very dope. Rage and Sesh Gang and K Grows all came down and performed their songs.
I talked to them a little bit while they were on the road, man.
Oh
so,
I did see them.
yeah.
Their video.
Yeah, it was dope. And Essence is actually in Atlanta right now too, so she was able to come and her daughters performed their song. You know, her Keep Going challenge.
Of course.
So they did that. It was just like beautiful, and like I had everybody who I invited to the EP release party were people who I had personally met since I moved there and who I just thought were great people and just, you know, good positive energy and supportive vibes. And they all came out and were able to like, you know, feel a little piece of home, like Columbus, Ohio, like hear the music that is coming out of our city.
Yeah. And
like just expose Atlanta to that. And you know, at the same time, by having it there, like bringing the artists down.
Yeah, vice versa.
You know, like meet and mingle. Cause I had a couple performances from people who I had met who lived in Atlanta. So like, it was just like, you know, just like trying to mesh the worlds together and just, you know, bring everybody together and just
So how do you think it was received? How do you think Atlanta artists received the Columbus music?
Oh, they loved it. They like the reaction was great. Everybody was rocking, and like I've had people pre-order the EP because it wasn't actually out yet. You could only pre-order it that day. So like a lot of people pre-ordered the EP. A lot of people were buying merch and just like super supportive and networking. So I think it went great. Like, and I played like Legwork. That was the single.
Right.
So like I've done a couple radio interviews down there, and like they've played Legwork, and everybody keep asking me when I'm gonna take it to Magic City. I'm like, I've never even been to Magic.
Yeah,
so
that was funny. I had that in my mind
step.
too. I had that in my mind too. Like, you know, Atlanta does have Magic City.
Yeah, that's actually part that went into the choosing of which song was going to be the single, because that one just seemed to fit the most. It was like a full song, you know, it had hooks and like 2 verses, and it was just like, you know, Legwork, stripper, twerking, like in Atlanta. It just fit. Like I was just like, this kind of has to be the single.
Yeah,
and it's a dope song. You know, Such Game always bring the energy.
Of course. Now, was that the plan when you created that beat? Was that the plan to get Such Game to do that?
No, that's the crazy part. So the way that the EP worked was I just like posted. I had like cooked up like for a week straight, and I just cooked up like maybe like 10 beats, and I was like, all right, like these kind of feel like a mix between like Columbus and Atlanta. So I just want these beats to be used for the project. So I made an announcement like, yo, Project LS Volume 2, any artists from Columbus, if you want to get on, hit me up. So I sent out like zip folders of like beats and like to certain people, and I'm just like, you know, like pick a beat and like, you know, so Joff actually met with the gang, and they picked that beat. The name of the beat was actually called No Sleep, and they turned it into Legwork, and I just loved it. Like it was just like perfect. I thought for like, you know, just for it being Atlanta. So we got the artwork together, and so no, that wasn't in my mind. I just cooked. Like when I've been making beats, I actually don't think the concepts. That's a goal for 2018 though. Start thinking of concepts, or at least like I've been working with songwriters lately. So if I'm not thinking of the concept, I'll like have a songwriter write like some hooks or something, so I can present it to, you know, artists or for placement opportunities and things like that. Yeah.
Now, how do you with kind of going to what you just said? Like when you get, how would that process be any different? Let's say if you're trying to reach out to a young Jeezy or somebody in ATL or TI or something, like what would be the, obviously it would be a little different because you might have to go through a few more people.
Right.
But, you know, like how do you do that? Is there a blog? Is there a website? Do you just happen to meet the manager at an event? You know, like
literally, I think the last thing you said was about as close as it gets in Atlanta. It's just, you just meet people through meeting people. So it's not like you can just reach out like, hey, like I found T.I.'s manager's email, so I'm going to like shoot him an email and hope he responds. Like that's like, people talk a lot about like relationships being organic. So as opposed to that, if I met somebody, they invited me to an event, and like at that event, I happened to get introduced to T.I.'s manager. Then I'm like, hey, by the way, I'm a producer, you know, any like opportunities that you have for placements, you know, let me know. I love to come through and play some beats or whatever. And that's kind of more so, I feel like the better way for things to happen. Because when you're reaching out to people, you just kind of have to have in mind that a million people are reaching out to them. But as opposed to if somebody they know introduces you to them, you automatically have like a stronger foundation for building that relationship and getting a place.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. Well, that's awesome.
Is there any artist that you're like, ooh, I really would love to work with, blah, 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 while I'm here?
Here in Columbus?
No, Atlanta.
Oh, in Atlanta. Oh, all of them?
I mean all of them. But I mean, like, specifically, you feel like,
Yeah, I keep saying this, and I'm speaking it into existence because, like, there's an artist by the name of Hippie Creed. And he's not like Migos or anything like that, but he's a vocalist. He does like his voice is just amazing, like he sings. And I actually met him the first week that I had moved to Atlanta. I just became really cool with like his circle, like his team of people. So I would go to like his events, like he would have shows, I would go support him. And like to this, like I was just in the studio with him last week. He was shooting, or the week before, he was shooting a music video for one of his songs. So I'm meeting like his producers and his team, and we're playing beats and stuff at Patchwork. So that was like super cool. So I really like, I sent a couple beats, and like he heard my beats, he knows, but it's just like a process, you know what I'm saying, like that you go through. But I really would love to have a song with him, just because I feel like him and his group of people, they just hold a special place in my heart, because they were like one of the first groups of people after I moved who welcomed me. I actually went to this event to see Essence perform, and I was super early, and Essence's performance wasn't until like way later, so I was just sitting by myself, and they just I just said something to him like when I walked outside, like, hey, are you an artist? And he's like, yeah, I am. And like they just welcomed me. Hey, come, you're by yourself. Come, we thought you were waiting on somebody. Come sit with us. You want something to drink? Like, but just, and it's just like been like a great relationship ever since.
Dope.
So I would love to have a song with him just because like, I just really rock with his vibes and his people, and I think he's very talented. And just like his producers, just everything. I would love to like have a song with Hippie Creed. So
that's awesome. Shout out Hippie Creed, man. Let's go. Let's get this track rolling.
Let's go.
We're waiting on it. Well, that's dope, man. We like I said, you know, we were super proud of you and everything that you're doing out there. And I'm gonna tell you, and I one thing that I hope that you do, and I have all confidence that it won't be a problem for you. But as you continue to progress in what you're doing, the humble vibe and everything that you have, and just the down to earth vibe hasn't changed since the day I met you. So I think that's the best part about you. Now, the music is dope, all that's dope too, but just the way that you carry yourself, you know, the way that you treat people, those things have more value, you know, and take you a lot further. So just continue. So just, you know, if I never said anything nice to you before, I'm saying that, you know what I mean? Just, you know, just keep that rolling. Cause I mean, every time, you know, because your name comes up a lot, whether you're here or not, you know, in conversations with artists and stuff. And it's always good stuff, you know, oh yeah, I got to get with London, or I got to talk to her, get the beats, blah, 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 you know. And then we put out, thanks to Joff, put a foot in my butt and finally put out the From the Ground. You saw it? I saw that.
Yeah, I heard the tracks was dope.
Yeah. Well, he was the one. Joff was like, yo, he's like, man, so, you know, you told us we can do whatever. I was like, yeah. So, you know, I've been meaning to put a best foot forward to that, but just so much other stuff's been going on. It was really more than I thought it would be, and I wasn't able to you know, put that forefront. He's like, I got you, dog. He's like, I got you, don't worry. And then a couple days later, he was like, what you think? He had the art and everything. So I was glad to have 2 tracks from you on there. Yes. Was it 2? Yeah, I think it was 2 tracks. Mm-hmm. Yep, and a couple other things. So that's dope. So now you're here for what? About a week and a half?
Mm-hmm.
About a week and a half. So, you know, with all the people that you met yesterday, do you have in mind to try and lay something down while you're here, or you kind of just chilling with fam?
Yeah. So this year has just been crazy for me with the move to Atlanta, and like with being in Atlanta, you know, away from all my friends and family, there are no distractions. So after I get off work, it's music, like something that has to do with music, events, networking, whatever, like cooking. I'm always like moving on the move. So I was like, wow, like this year is about to be over. I need to like take some time. Like that's why I decided to stay for as long as I did, instead of spending too much time in Atlanta. Because if I'm in Atlanta, I'm moving. Like here, I'm around family. I could like kind of calm myself down a little bit and just regroup. You know, reflect on the things that I was able to accomplish this year or wasn't able to accomplish, and just set some 2018 goals and just kind of like, you know, like just get my mind right, because I'm claiming this now. So if we do an interview a year from now, I will not be working for my 9 to 5. I'm doing music full time. So we're gonna timestamp this. And like claim the victory in Jesus' name.
Let's do it, right? Amen. Amen.
Yes. So I just like this. I just been trying to plan a lot this week as far as like what my 2018 goals are. I just ordered an MK3, so I'm gonna be using a new production software and beat machine. So I'm gonna be learning that. I also want to get into Ableton, but just while I'm here, I might do a few cook-up sessions. Like I think I have one scheduled for Saturday with M. Simile. I'm not, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And Malik, and then this guy that we met at this beat camp in Atlanta. His name's Akil. We all live in Ohio, so we're just gonna link up on Saturday and just cook up. So that's about as much as I plan on doing. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I
something might come out of the woodwork.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised, but the goal is to kind of try to like just like clear my mind and just get ready for 2018.
Understood, man. Tell everybody how they can follow you, of course.
Yes, at London Elixir on Instagram and Twitter, and that's ELIXIR. You can also check out my website, www.londonelixir.com.
No doubt. So this is what we're gonna do, and I know London won't mind. So we started doing me and B Square. We've been trying to do a pre-mix before the show, but it hasn't worked out. So last week we did it in the middle of the show. So tonight we're gonna wind up doing it at the end of the show. But
and what next week is just a turn up party. So the whole.
You know, we'll that's it. We'll chop that up. We'll chop that up. No, I'm not. No, I haven't changed it. I haven't changed it. I just don't. I know. I don't want to give
business, and I'm just saying he has said no, we ain't gonna worry about no gas. It's just gonna be people coming through, and we just gonna be chilling.
I still want that.
Yes, right?
Yeah, we definitely gonna turn up. We gonna have a let loose party next week for sure. But what I wanted to say is we're gonna get over there, let B Square do his thing. London, if you ain't got nowhere to go, more what? Because what we're trying to do with the premix is get everybody that's here to go live, so that most people can see him do his thing. I did one last week with him. I don't know if I have the strength. I've been battling this cold, so I don't know if I have the strength to get on with him. But definitely want to show him support for hanging out as long as he has, because we were supposed to do it a while back. But so that's what we'll do next. We'll take a quick break. We're gonna move over there. We're all gonna get live. So everybody, if you're watching or listening, stay tuned for Facebook and Instagram lives for myself, Tiffany L, London, B Square, and we just gonna rock it out for the next 15, 20 minutes. We're just gonna rock it out. Everybody cool with that? Yeah. All right, cool. So let's rock. Breaking Ground Radio. Oh, here's another one. I got 3. Okay, cool.
Paratus, the goddess. Put your back, put your back, put your back, put your back. I'm running in the street, not on the sidewalk. You gon' have to break, or you sidewalk. Red hair looks like blood when it's dripping. Red hair looks like blood when it's dripping. You're gonna miss. Put that bitch on repeat and play. New chick can never duplicate. Already miss a new update. Moon rock in my blunt when I lick it. Moon rock in my blunt when I lick it. You gonna like me without me. Hate to love me, learn to miss shit. I'm on 911, back that bitch, red rum. You gonna like me without me. Hate to love me, learn to miss shit. I'm on 911, just that. Trim fat, drain grease, beauty out the beast. It's your fault, please. Let me go. Red hair like I love how I'm living. Red hair like I love how I'm living. No more options. No. Now that I'm popping, now that I'm saucing. Look who I'm dropping. Moon rock and the love on the lifting. Moon rock and the love on the lifting. You ain't even have to like the light. You gonna like the light. You ain't even have to like the light. You ain't even have to like the light. You gonna like the light. You gonna like the light me. You gonna like the light me without me. Hate to love me, learn to miss shit. I'm on 911, back that bitch, red rum. You gonna like the light me without me. Hate to love me, learn to miss shit. I'm on 911, fuck that. Just like me, you can never direct me.